Hey there, it's Van from VH Product. So, you just created your first Phosphor Project game. Now what? Here are the basics to the engine. Let's hit play first. You need to know how to play the game before you can make the game. Let's go. Alright, when you boot in here, you can see these touch controls on the side here. These are for moving, looking around, jumping, and left clicking and right clicking. You can also swap them to swap their functions. Now, if you're on a computer like me, you can just turn that off. You can even lock your mouse, and then works beautifully for your device. Very nice. Alright, let's get into actually making the game. First things you need to know, how to add objects and how to transform them. Let's start by adding a cube. As you can see, you have these arrows for moving in all three axes. Of course, there are different move and height options. The reason for this is, if you're close to an object and the arrows aren't practical, you can just drag them around. Now with dragging, you can't drag up, so if you switch it to height, it'll go up and down. You can also rotate objects. And scale them around. Whoops. With the laptops, it sometimes gets confused between left click and right click. As you can see here, there is the actual shape, and then there's this box around the shape. That box is the hitbox. You can see that this is a problem because the hitbox doesn't match the actual transform of the shape. Here's an example playing the game. You're walking on nothing here, and then in the object, there isn't any hitbox stopping you from going straight on inside of it. The solution to this problem is to go into the collider section and hit mesh. Now, the phantom hitbox won't be there, and you'll actually be able to interact with the shape. Nice. Here's an application where this could be used in a platformer. Move this over here. Selected that. Bring it down. Duplicate this with this button here. Rotate it, flip it around. And now you have this simple platformer. Very nice. Let's talk about materials and importing objects. If you go up, you can see you can set the object's color. Now you can see these objects are very simple. These options are very simple. And if you want to set the material different, well, I already have these materials in, but you will see that it's only color only for you. You can add materials by going to this external website. I didn't create Ambient CG. It's ambientcg.com. But basically, you can find all sorts of different textures and assets for your game. Let's see. What should I make it out of? I should probably make it out of probably like a metal. So you can see all these different types of metals here. Let's get this one. Now, it's something to go for the 8K options, but you don't want to go 8K or even 4K because that takes up a lot of space. you want to go 2K. Go in here, and as you can see, it's the same. You only have the materials that you already have. So if you go into objects, upload, model/material, and then you find your metal. And then if you go to the objects thing here, you can set it to your object's color here. Now your metal is the platform color. Say you want some nice custom platforms. You can go over here and you can see 3D assets. Say you want, I guess, a watermelon shaped one. That would be cool. So again, it's tempting to go for the high poly, good texture ones, but you want to go for the 2K one. And also the standard poly. How you add this through the same menu, and then you find your object. Now this is pretty easy, you just click it. Now these are very small. You want to make them like 100x the size that they are originally, because these are insanely small. Is that even good enough? I don't know if that was good enough. Where is it? Holy crap, this is small. Okay. Oh, I just scaled up the hitbox, didn't I? Looks like my drive is full. I have done too many takes. Yeah. 100 times is a bit much. 10 times is good. That's a nice watermelon. Now you can see the auto collider is pretty good for this one, so I wouldn't change it for you, but if you have a more complex model, you are going to want to change it to mesh. You can see now you have this here. Also with scale, you can do just drag. It's kind of hard to pull off though. Alright, let's move this here. Now you have your own custom model in this game. Alright. That's nice. Say a platformer like this isn't really your style of game. Let's get rid of these objects here. So, you don't need, for like open world games, to actually manually like scale this to be huge. We have a checkbox for this. You just tick this, and then it scales it to this absolutely enormous infinite ground. The grid looks kind of weird on the infinite ground, so personally, I recommend turning it off. As you can see, this ground is pretty plain, so let's put a material on it. We could just use that old metal material, but let's use a different material. I already have one prepared. It is a nice tile. As you can see, the green doesn't really match this game. Looks kind of bland. A lighting panel is the next thing you should know how to use. Open the lighting panel here, And you can change the light color and change the fog color or sky color. You also want to turn on film grain at 15%, camera shake, lens flare, and shiny materials. Alright. Also, you want to turn fill light down this up. As you can see, it looks a little more better. Still isn't that great though. For this, you're going to need an actual skybox. So you can see inside of all assets here, we have some skyboxes here. What's this called? Let's see. This is the one that I personally like. This Day Sky HDRI. For this one, you're going to want to go 4K. It's not that big. 8K is too big, though. Oh my god, it has a 16K as well and a 12K. I didn't even see that. Anyways, this one is not in the same import menu. It's actually in this menu here. And you hit upload. And then you just find Day Sky there. Now, it's been added. But still not right. The sky color, the old sky color for the fog, isn't matching. Alright, let's try and match this. It doesn't really fit any of the colors on here, which is where hex codes come in. Too white? What about too black? That's good. You can see now we have this perfectly nice white sky fog. Now, if you look in play mode, you'll see sun's over there, but the skybox sun is over there, which is where you're gonna want to go back into that lighting menu. You're gonna want to zoom out just a little bit, so that way you can see both, like that sun and that sun, in the same panel. All right. So you're gonna change the sun angle here, or the sun direction, to be around where this is. Something's happening over there. Change the sun height to be down and the sun size to be smaller. Let's see how that lines up. That lines up pretty good. So you can turn off the sun overlay. Boom. Now that looks good. You can see now this game looks pretty nice. It's missing some objects though. So let's zoom back into where the player is. Let's see. Select player, and then let's find it. There it is. Alright, let's toss in the melon from earlier. Needs to be kind of big. Is this the collider size again? I might change that. I might make that more easy to see. And then mesh. There we go. Now we got a watermelon here. I also have a croissant model already prepared from that selection there. So let's toss that in as well. That one is even smaller. I think this one has to be kind of big. You can see it has the same collider problem. The watermelon doesn't really have the problem, but this one is definitely where you need the mesh collider here. There we go. Now you have some food here in this weird big area. Pretty nice. This is a pretty nice, very scenic game here. Let's talk functions for a minute. So, here you have an AI to write functions. I won't touch this right now. That is for later. Alright. So, for functions, you can do all sorts of things. So, you can switch the stage, which a stage is basically a game state. So, this is stage 1. Stage 2 is just this blank, empty beginning slate. So, you can have functions switch the stage, stop the game, move the object to a position, walk over, which is like a drag object, move player to, show text, and loop forever. So let's make it like a level. So let's do switch stage to stage 2. Boom. Now, let's attach this to, say, the watermelon. Here's how you can attach it. If touched by player, function 1. Boom. So now, if I get to my goal, which is the watermelon here, got to it, now I'm in the next stage of the game. That is something a function can do. And say you don't want to touch the cursor, so you add a function to stop the game if you touch the croissant. Function 2. So croissant kills you. Boom, the game stopped. And then the watermelon progresses you next level. You could also edit function 1 here to have a show text level 2. Oh crap. I forgot to add space API. By the time you use it, that should be fixed. I think I have to show it first. Use the arrow for that. Level 2. Boom. Pretty nice. That was just the basic gist of the game. I'll have more in-depth tutorials on exactly some of the fancier details in the lighting, some of the fancier details in the cloud control, fancier details in staging, functions, AI, and also what this does, what this does, what this does. But I'm not going to touch on that in this video. This video was just a skim overview of what happens, in a very simple game. This is good instruction for most games that you're going to make, like platformers, quest games, stuff like that. This is most you need, but if you want to go in depth, I will post more tutorials on this. And I guess that's the video. Alright, the domain is phosphorproject.com. Go there, and you can create games like this. Alright, bye.